Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rick and Nikki here.
Hello.
Coming at you with another weekly roundup of theme park news, rumors, and opinions. We just got back from doing a live stream of the soft opening of Minion Land at Universal Orlando. We'll talk about that later. But do you remember the last weekly roundup? I kept checking my watch for any type of HHN announcement.
Yes.
Didn't get one then.
No, we didn't.
But I said I would be on high alert for an announcement. Well, we finally have that announcement.
That's right. It happened while we were in the parks, in fact.
Yeah, we were doing our update video. But Universal Orlando announces that the Last of Us house is coming to Universal's Halloween Horror Nights event this year. The haunted house is inspired by the video game, not the TV show, and it includes locations from the game.
Oh.
The game, which comes from game developer Naughty Dog and PlayStation, debuted in 2013 and follows Joel and Ellie in a world ravaged by fungal infection that turns people into zombies. For the house, I don't know how people are reacting who have never heard of this.
Right.
But that's the backstory. For the house, visitors will be put in the middle of that terrifying world as they follow in the footsteps of Joel and Ellie, encountering threats like clickers, runners, stalkers, and a band of hostile humans known as the Hunters. As they move through the Pittsburgh quarantine zone, visitors will also enter other locations from the game, including the Grand Hotel and the Dark Tunnels. Now, there are some differences between the video game, which this house is based on, and the TV show, but the differences are not that profound.
Right. I was going to say, from what I've heard,
Yep.
it follows pretty closely.
And for those of you who are not familiar with The Last of Us, I would suggest watching the TV show, which streams on Max. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We're not that familiar with the game, but we know people
Right.
who watch the show and play the game, and they tell us that the differences are few and very slight.
Right. Exactly.
So-
It follows the same theming and, things like that.
So if you watch The Last of Us TV show, you'll kind of get the gist of what The Last of Us is all about and what this new haunted house is going to be all about. Now, Universal Hollywood will also get a Last of Us haunted house.
Nice.
The Last of Us house is the second house announced for Universal Orlando's HHN event. At the end of last year's Halloween Horror Nights, Universal Orlando announced a house based on the Chucky TV series, which airs on the USA and the Sci-Fi networks. This year's after-hours Halloween event, Halloween Horror Nights, will include 10 haunted houses, 5 scare zones, live entertainment, and themed food. More announcements are expected in the coming weeks. Can you talk about how we think these announcements are going to go, Nikki?
Sure. From what our understanding is that it might go every 2 weeks, and then maybe just the beginning and end of July, and then with IP houses being announced one at a time, and then possibly in August, beginning of August, is the rest of the houses.
The original houses.
Yes. The
So
original houses.
IP, for those who don't know, stands for intellectual property. Those are like Chucky, like The Last of Us. So 2 houses. We think there might be 3 more IP houses.
Yeah, we think it's 5 and 5.
Yeah. So we expect the IP houses to be announced first. We've had 2.
Yep.
And then we're kind of guessing those announcements to come like in 2 weeks pattern.
Yes. Maybe a little off in July. Maybe just might be the beginning and end from what we understand.
I will be on high alert 1 week from the announcement of the Last of Us house.
Right.
And if it doesn't happen 1 week, then I'll be prepared for that second week. But they kind of want to, I think, give each house announcement its day in the sun.
Exactly.
Its moment of glory to I don't want to say wallow in. What's the word I'm looking for?
To build excitement for.
They want to live. They want to have that IP house. The Last of Us enjoy their moment of glory for a couple weeks before they announce another house. But then we think with the original houses, we think it might just be like, here they are.
Yes.
Like, here's all 5.
Yes. I think so.
Because no one's going to know or have a real connection to an original house.
Right. Even though sometimes those are the best houses.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some I really, really like from years past.
Yeah, those are the houses that Universal Creative just dreams up.
Yes.
Now,
Sometimes
can we
they're pretty
speculate? Awesome. I'm going to say they have been on a pattern of doing a classic monster house recently, several years in a row here, a few years in a row. Mm-hmm. So I would expect, of the 3 IP houses we're expecting to be released soon, I would expect a classic monster house.
Okay.
Maybe hoping for a Stranger Things house.
I'm really hoping for it. I know it's very 50-50 out there in the Halloween Horror Nights stratosphere of fandom, but I really like Stranger Things. If not this year, then definitely I would hope for next year.
I would really like a house that covered every season. They did that one year for like The Walking Dead. They had a house that covered 5 or 6 seasons.
Right.
I would like a Stranger Things house that
from
covered,
beginning to end. Yeah. Oh, that'd be so cool. Awesome.
But any type of Stranger Things house would be great.
Oh,
and do we have any idea or I guess or hope for like the last IP house? Do you have anything?
I have. There's several out there that people were talking about. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I don't know.
We don't have a strong one. We feel strongly about Stranger Things and a classic monster house.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Universal's HHN event.
Wait, no, maybe it might be Megan and Insidious because I do know that.
We think because they've been doing that combo house in the Fast and Furious area.
Yes.
So they kind of do a double house where you go through one, which could be Megan, and then after you briefly walk outside to the next house would be
like Insidious or something like that.
That's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe something like that.
Pencil those in.
Those are kind of what we're thinking.
But Universal Orlando's HHN event begins September 1st and runs on select nights through October 31st. Those of you counting, that is a record 44 nights of Halloween Horror Nights. Single night tickets are currently on sale. Halloween Horror Nights Express Passes, RIP Tour, and the Behind the Screams Tour are also available to purchase now. Frequent Fear Passes and other types will be available soon, according to Universal.
Right.
We're waiting for the Frequent Fear.
Yes, we are. And that's typical. I mean, I always get nervous, but I mean, it's typically, in the summer when they do that Frequent Fear and Frequent Fear Plus.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that so no one's confused.
Right.
Frequent Fear Passes and other ticket types will be available soon, according to Universal. Gotcha. I'm excited for The Last of Us house. Like I said, we don't really do the video game, but we are familiar with the TV show on Max, and we really, really like that TV show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So. It was very entertaining, so I'm excited.
Now, before we get to some Disney news, let me tell you, my Disney YouTube channel, Rick's in the Queue, released 2 videos since the last weekly roundup. There is an Epcot video with both Nikki and I for you to enjoy, and there's an Animal Kingdom video with a very cool tip. One of my patented Disney hacks is in that Animal Kingdom video. So go check those out. Links to both those videos are in the description box. And while you're there enjoying those videos, subscribe to Rick's in the Queue so you don't miss any of our Disney content. Mm-hmm. Now on to some Disney holiday news.
Fun stuff.
But unlike Universal, it's not Halloween. It's Christmas.
Christmas news. Okay.
Walt Disney World has announced a new holiday event for Disney's Hollywood Studios, Jollywood Nights.
Fun.
It's a separately ticketed event, after-hours event. It will run on select nights from November 11th through December 20th. The new Christmas event will include a variety of themed activities, including the return of Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, the Nighttime Spectacular, a live holiday special hosted by Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy at the Theater of the Stars, and a spirited sing-along at Hyperion and character interactions with Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Powerline Max, and others. The event will feature a jazz lounge in the Hollywood Brown Derby, a Latin street fair on Commissary Lane, and an what else? How did they describe it? They said it was like an otherworldly, what? How did they describe
soiree?
it? Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. At the Hollywood Tower Hotel Courtyard. Okay. Thank you for that help, Nikki.
No problem.
I couldn't quite recall the exact phrasing they were using for that at the courtyard there. Guests will have access to rides like Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Rise of the Resistance, which will feature a virtual queue for the Rise of the Resistance. So mark your calendars. I'm talking to you, Nikki.
Okay.
I'm talking to you, Nikki. Tickets will go on sale to the general public on July 6th.
Okay.
I'm not kidding. You got to put that in your phone. I want to get those as soon as possible.
Okay.
Prices will range from $159 to $179 per person.
Okay. So this is the first time that they've actually had an after hours paid event.
Yes.
A lot of times Hollywood studios would do free after hours things, but they've added a bunch more activities, I think.
Yeah, this is the first time, you're right, that they've had a separately ticketed after hours event.
Right.
It was just like they would have like that stuff on Sunset Boulevard.
Yes,
with
kind
the
of like
projection show.
the rolling projection show, and but they had they're bringing back Jingle Bell Jingle Bam, so that's good because that wasn't around for the past year at least or so. Yeah.
Okay, we've had some Universal news. We've had some Disney news. What about some Busch Gardens Tampa news?
Okay.
Everything's getting in the act.
It is.
Busch Gardens Tampa Bay is saying goodbye to the Sand Serpent roller coaster next month. The theme park announced that the 19-year-old coaster will close permanently on July 10th to make way for an exciting new addition.
Awesome.
The last day to ride the coaster, Sand Serpent, will be July 9th. Busch Gardens has not yet said what is going to be replacing that coaster, but rest assured, when they announce the replacement, I'll share that information with you. That's what I do.
It's what you do.
SeaWorld Orlando. Man, I told you, all the parks are getting into the news this week.
They sure are.
As part of SeaWorld Orlando's ongoing conservation efforts, it opened a new coral rescue center in the park.
Okay.
The facility houses 350 coral colonies and 15 different species, many of which are listed as threatened under the U.S. Endangered Species Act. Park visitors can see the corals and learn about them and the work that the biologists do behind the scenes when they visit that little new, attraction. Am I calling it an attraction?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call it an attraction. But anyway, if you go into SeaWorld, check that out, learn some stuff. SeaWorld helping out some endangered species. Always good. Now, Themed Entertainment Association has released its annual report showing estimated attendance at theme parks for last year, 2022. Disney World's Magic Kingdom remains the most visited theme park in the world. Wait, you know what? In the world. The park drew an estimated 17.13 million visitors in 2022. Disneyland California came in second. Number 3 on the list was Universal Studios Japan.
Oh, wow.
Japan. Number 4 was Tokyo Disneyland. Now, to round out the top 5, we have Universal's Islands of Adventure with 11 million visitors in 2022. Theme park attendance has still not fully recovered from the pre-pandemic levels.
Okay.
But the reports do show that the parks are recovering.
Nice.
Not quite 100% back, but getting close. I can't wait to see, and it might be a few years because there's like a 6 months lag in this report at least. I can't wait to see when Epic Universe opens and has a full year under its belt. So that we're probably talking 2027 to see where it ends up on this list. If you saw my live stream yesterday, then you know that parts of Minion Land has opened at Universal Studios Florida, including the Minions Cafe. I'll leave a link to that live stream in the description box. It'll be right there with the links for Epcot and Animal Kingdom. So even after this video ends, you're not going to be bored. You'll have things to do. Plenty of content to keep you entertained. And we were entertained when visiting the Minion Land yesterday at Universal Studios Florida. What's our thoughts on that whole complex? Looks pretty sharp. Looks pretty festive and fun.
It does. It's so bright and happy. And I mean, you don't have to be a fan of Minions to enjoy that area. They knocked it out of the park. And it makes me excited for Epic too, for what, seeing what they could do with this, stretch of, like landscape, property, what they can do over there. But no, I mean, it's a beautiful section of the park now.
It's the same footprint as the Monsters Cafe.
Right.
But they did so much more with it. I'm impressed.
Yes, me too. They really, yeah.
So you have Illumination Theater, where the character interactions will occur. Part of it will be Sing, part will be Minions.
Right.
You interacted with some Sing characters yesterday.
Yeah, it was super cute.
And then as you move around the complex, you're going to have Bake My Day, which has merchandise and baked goods and treats in there. It's a treat place.
Uh-huh.
Some new ones we haven't seen before, too. And then as we move along, Freeze Ray Pops has like the ice cream popsicles and stuff. And then you get into the Minions Cafe. We tried a few different things, and everything we tried was fantastic.
Right.
Really enjoyed.
Oh, for sure.
Even some of the healthier dishes.
Yeah, like the cauliflower. It was really good.
Nikki doing her healthy stuff. A gluten-free option that was delicious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gluten-free and vegan.
And it's just so cute in there, the way they have, it's divided into 3 sections. You have the kitchen, where we sat both times. A lot of good decor in there with the Minions. And then they have the dining room, and then they have the Minions break room. A couple of the tables in the Minions break room are actually foosball tables that you can play.
Right. So cute.
Yeah, but a great addition. Now, some people, including myself, maybe a little, when they said they were going to have Minion Land, we're like, really? Minion Land, really? But once you see it all come together, you see their vision, it looks pretty good. That whole strip there of having your classics, Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, and the Silly Stuff store on one side, and then the other side having Minion Blast, which we hope will open before the 4th of July.
Yeah, hoping.
And the Evil Stuff store, and then you get to the Minion Cafe complex. It's a fun, festive, theme park-looking area now.
It really is.
Good job.
Yeah. Really
Hats
enjoyed our day.
Universal.
For sure. Their creative team killed it. And same thing with like their food and beverage department, was just, it was just great. Like we enjoyed the food and the snacks and
creative stuff.
Yeah, just, it was just, I mean, fantastic. Really
like
enjoyed the time there.
Hats off to you guys. Universal. And speaking of keeping the content coming to you, the unsung heroes of this channel, the group that enables us to keep this going for long term. Right. Keep doing what we're doing for long term. Keep the videos coming to you, videos, live streams coming to you. That would be the channel members and the patrons. And we have some new ones today, Nikki.
Awesome.
I felt like maybe I dominated the weekly roundup. I spoke too much. You had some good thoughts in there with the HHN stuff, but I think I'll turn the floor over to you.
Oh,
shout out.
Thanks. So for Vice President, we have Christy Hicks. Thank you so much. And then for a Nikki Rockstar, we have Tracy Roberts and Potterhead 76.
Yes, 2 Nikki Rockstars.
Yeah. And then an executive producer is Stephen Hatton. And then we have a couple of producers of Christopher Robertson and Robert Fitzpatrick. And then a bunch of full supporters
there.
So we have Matthew Smith, Joanna Maynard, Troy Prescott, Baboon Ninja, Heather Gully, Sarah.
I'm sorry, who was it? Heather Gully?
Yes, okay. Heather Gully, Sarah Clow, and Angel Gimble.
Yeah, thanks for the support, guys.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh.
And with that, I think it will end this week's weekly roundup. Thanks for watching, and as always,
don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun.
We'll see you next time.
His name is Rick, her name is Nikki, showing how theme parks are done. Don't miss the magic, don't miss the fun. Hit subscribe.